Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Minority Report. Let me say, first of all, we are resuming after a 2-week break, hiatus, if you want to call it that. We had 2 Tuesdays where we supported on one Tuesday the conversations with the Prime Minister that was being aired live from Trinidad, and we saw it fit to really be able to log in to also benefit from the different discussions and so forth. And then last Tuesday, we know as we celebrate here in Tobago, we celebrated Easter Tuesday. And so Tobago Updates, being the #1 network, was literally all over, especially in Buku, on the day, bringing coverage all day, all evening into the night time. So we had to forego the Minority Report, but here we are. We are back Tuesday, the 9th of April. We are literally into a new month, and I think this is the first time that we are actually coming face to face for the month of April. And folks, we are into the 4th month of 2024. We've already literally started to cover 1/3 of 2024. This is the month of April, and you know, when the year, it seems as if it was just a couple of weeks ago where many persons would have had their New Year's resolutions, and persons would have been making their new commitments, coming up with certain decisions, planning out for the year. And if you have not really taken a jump on those plans, chances are that you may be running it a bit close to the wire. Here we are in the month of April, heading speedily through the year. And I want to say, you know, we just have to thank God, especially for the fact that we are here in the land of the living. So much has been happening. And, you know, it is always good to take a pause and just to give God thanks, to give praise for bringing us thus far. We have literally just come out of that Easter season. As many of us know, many persons celebrate that Lenten period coming out after the carnival season, and then spending those couple weeks, you know, just some people fast, some people abstain from different things and so on. And you know, it's a season where you experience a level of cleansing, a level of commitment. Some persons use it to refocus their energies and so forth. So coming out of that period, and it culminates with the Easter weekend, you know, it's good that for those who were able to make the sacrifices, spend some time in prayer, some more time, spend some time sacrificing, fasting, even meditating, and really going about realigning and redefining the direction that your life and the life of your family should take. You know, we always encourage persons here, and I always try to stress on it, that even the Minority Report is indeed a family type program where from young to not so young can gather around the television and benefit from the discussions that we put forward here with clarity, where we present the facts, where we bring information to you, the public, that you can definitely take to the bank. This evening is no different, and you know, if you're looking at this program, you can view us on the Tobago Updates website, you can view us on the Tobago Updates YouTube channel, or you can utilize the Tobago Updates Facebook page, which is the platform many persons utilize because you want to be able to follow us in the comments. You want to even feel free to share a comment, and I always encourage you to do so very respectfully, respecting the views and opinions of everyone. And let's keep the comments clean, let's keep the chat clean, because we have the younger ones who are looking on, and it's important for us to really take cognizance that we set the right example for these younger folk that are looking on. If you want to send us information, however, you can send us WhatsApp on 284-6597. That is 284-6597, or 356-8833. 356-8833, and feel free to send us whatever information. Many of you have been reaching out to us on the various platforms, or even by sending us messages and so on, and have been in some cases bombarding us. And yes, we welcome the bombardment. For those of you who consider yourselves whistleblowers as well, who have been bringing meaningful information, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You have been performing and doing human service in terms of your patriotism. It is the right of every individual to operate within an environment that is free from victimization, free from blacklisting, where you have equal opportunity to apply your trade and to also exercise freedom of opinion and freedom of speech. And so as persons come in, as persons share, I want to encourage you to keep doing so. You can send your messages, you can send photos, you can send videos to either of those two numbers. Or if you are not at this time able to send your information and you want to connect with us during the week, you can feel free to call the Minority Office at 612-9492. That's 612-9492. And someone will be more than willing and appreciative to speak with you, to have the conversations. We are situated just opposite Unit Trust Building. That's uptown. So it's easy access. You either could walk up, you get a taxi, they drop you right in front. You come in and you can speak with any one of the staff there. You can speak with any one of us. You can bring your information in. And I really, really want to encourage you to keep doing that. Keep spreading the word. Keep bringing things out and just supporting us. More importantly, with your prayer. This is not an easy task, and in saying that, I want to say good evening to both Minority Leader and Minority Councillor, Assemblyman Kelvin Morris, and the Minority Councillor Petel Daniel Benoit. Also, not in studio with me this evening, I mean, and definitely he's going to be missed, Senator Lawrence Hislop, who always brings that measure of balance to the program. I don't know if probably later on he's going to drop in, but we're going to see how it goes for now. So I just really want to encourage you for coming to the Minority Office. And I want to also say you can take the opportunity to utilize some of the services that are also offered. Especially for seniors, you can feel free to come in and staff would assist you in filling out any forms, any information you need with respect to any grants and that kind of thing. Once it's within the purview, once we have access to the forms online and so on, a staff member will be present to sit with you patiently and walk you through the process, and also do the follow-up after your information may have been submitted to any division. So the Minority Leader's Office is not just an office that whistleblowers can come or you just bring information, but it's also an office that offers a number of services in terms of assistance to any citizen. Anyone can walk off the street, you have a concern, you have a problem, and you feel that you want to hear, you want to have a listening ear, you want to connect with somebody that will definitely make the effort to see your problem or your concern through to the end, then that is the place to be. You can just walk in. The office is open from 9 a.m. on a morning all the way to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Feel free to drop by, and as I indicated earlier, feel free to call. The number is 612-9492. That's 612-9492. So this evening, I mean, we just came off the cuff of the Easter weekend, and I mean, I just want to toss a few memories back into the fray. I know that many of you would have been to Mount Pleasant, and many persons, much more persons, I think, would have visited the Buku area for the traditional, historical, and I think now international goat races and crab races. We're going to take a few photos, look at a few videos and so on of the day, so that we can walk down memory lane as we enjoy some of what transpired on Easter Monday and Easter Tuesday. Well. Quite a bit of activity there, folks. And for many of you who are accustomed to going down there, I know you had a ball of a time, a lot of excitement, and it's always exciting. Every year that you see these races, there's always something to talk about. There's always something to take away from it. So I know many persons would have had an extremely riveting day. A lot of foreigners as well would have participated. So we're going to head right into it. I want to introduce in studio with me now the minority leader himself, Assemblyman Kelvon Morris. Welcome, sir.
Welcome and good night, Marlon. Good night to our loyal viewers, listeners, contributors. Welcome all. Look forward to the discussion.
Yes. And on our virtual link, we have a young man who is no stranger to the Minority Report. We want to also bring him into our conversation this evening, as we are going to be taking a short look at our agricultural industry or agricultural sector, where it is now, and having a bit of discussion and creating a sort of visioning as to where it is that we should actually be going. And I'm awaiting the director actually to bring him up. I am seeing him fixing his camera.
So as we await Marlon, Maxlon, sorry, one of the things I want to share with the public is that going forward, you would see us doing a lot more of this public education. So the Minority Report would be going forward one where you can really get information, and you would get a lot of the visioning of the People's National Movement going forward, where we believe Tobago should be, how we're going to take Tobago to that next level. And therefore, going forward, you would see a number of guests appearing on the show to share parts of the People's National Movement's policy going forward on various sectors. So we have Maxlon tonight, who would be treating with agriculture, and we want to thank Maxlon for being with us. As you know, Maxlon has a PhD, I think, in its agro. Well, Maxlon will share some of his.
He's an agronomist.
Agronomist, right? So we'll be bringing the persons who have the expertise in subject areas such as tourism, agriculture, and therefore, Maxon, good night, and how are you doing?
Good evening, my brother. So you will let me know when you're hearing me clearly?
Yes, we are hearing you quite well. You clearly.
Okay, great. It's indeed a pleasure. So good
Welcome.
evening. It's indeed a pleasure. Good evening to the host. Good evening to you, Mr. Minority Leader. In
pleasure
our
to have you on the show again.
Counselor. Always a pleasure being here, and to the listening audience, it's indeed a pleasure being here. So I am here to treat with any issue pertaining to agriculture as we normally do.
So Maxon, one of the things we recognize is that based on the last CSO data, the agricultural production in Tobago, we are seeing a decline in the productive capacity. And I want you, from your with your expertise and all that, to share what do you believe is accounting for this decline at this time?
Very good observation, and I'm glad that an entity such as the CSO can capture that data, so they don't think that we are making these things up. Because you know that tends to be the philosophy of some people. But what is really responsible for that is a lack of a policy decision that is focused on production increased, or food security, for want of a better word, food security and food sovereignty. I know in our time, let's take for example TADCO. TADCO would have made a decision to put the necessary policy in place to ensure that farmers get a better play or a better say in the whole production scheme. And we would have seen where initiatives such as when we made the food boxes and all of those things, farmers were being encouraged to get into production because you had a safe and secure area where your produce would have been readily accepted. And so I could speak from that standpoint because I was a beneficiary of that. And I know that doesn't exist anymore. So that was based on policy decision geared at increasing food production on the island. So I guess that because we are lacking that, a direct policy decision that is aimed towards food security, food sovereignty, we're seeing things happening all over the place that is not on Quora or in sync with getting to that place of food security. And until we start making the necessary decisions to make priority food security or food sovereignty, we'll be seeing this trend continue in terms of that decrease in production, that decrease in farming activity.
Who is intimately involved in the agricultural sector. What do you consider the factors necessary to really take our agricultural production to the next level?
Right. So that's a very good question. The first, and it's something you would hear me repeat over and over and over because I come from that background where I say research and training is two fundamental aspects without which we won't get anywhere because we have to stop viewing agriculture as this side, this side hustle or this side avenue. So until we've decided that we're going to focus on research, and when I say research, I've seen the division launch some sort of committee or some sort
Folks, forgive us for that technical glitch there. We had a minor fluctuation. I don't know if it was the electricity in Scarborough, but the program was cut off for a little while. But we are going to get Mr. Roberts back online with us shortly. Minority Leader Maxlon made some very, very critical points. He spoke about policy decision. And I know one thing that even you, whenever you go to the House, that you try to educate members of this administration on is what is your policy? What is the direction that you intend to take this thing in by way of policy decision and then trickle down from there into implementation phases? And it's a critical point that he made. How do you see that really affecting the direction that we go in terms of agriculture? How important is it?
Well, as he rightfully said, Mr. Roberts made a number of key points, and the one that stood out to me is about, really having the strategy that really feeds into the policy, and how that then is built out by your various institutions, such as your TATCO, such as the division of the Department of Marketing and etc. etc. So what you saw, what we had prior is that under the People's National Movement administration, you saw a clear build out of that where the three former companies, as you know, the Cassava Company, the Tico Suave, and then you had the fishing produce, the Fitcut. You saw how those companies were merged to form TATCO that would have better cater to farmers, so that farmers would have been able to focus on farming, knowing that they had a sure market, because TADCO should have been that entity that would purchase all their products, and all they had to do was just simply produce. And now TADCO has lost its way. In fact, TADCO is more focused on doing everything else other than treating with the farmers, and the farmers are left to fend for themselves. So there's no real relationship between the division and the farmers. In fact, as you know, there was that program to develop farmlands that would make it so much easier for persons to access agricultural lands for production. Because that is one of the major cry when you talk to, there are a lot of people interested in farming but cannot get the lands to actually farm. And therefore, that is what that Goldsboro program was going to do. There were some lands identified down at Friendship that would have provided easy access, accessible arable lands for farmers to farm. Now, what is this current administration doing? They spoke about this mega farm project. A year later, what is the status of this mega farm? And this is my challenge with this current administration. They are very good at talking big plans, but when it comes to implementation, they are very ineffective.
Actually, Minority Leader, and you mentioned TADCO. We've literally seen TADCO not just not serve the needs of the farmers, but TADCO has literally become a direct competitor to the farmers, where instead of being that broker to take goods off their hand, they're signing agreements with other entities where they are now competing on the market to put things out that the farmers are supposed to be bringing to them. And we've seen that entire entity now go literally dormant.
Yeah, because even the first real example of how TADCO has abandoned the farmers of Tobago. Remember that program that we had during the COVID? And during that time, farmers would tell you it was one of the best time they had as farmers in Tobago.
Correct.
Because TADCO was taking all the produce and utilizing them for the food boxes at the time. And they were taking all the chicken, and it was actually being used. It was not being stored down at the facility and then being spoiled and then had to be thrown away and all that. They were actually being utilized for Tobagonians to consume, and farmers were receiving payments for compensation for those stuff. And it allowed farmers to have that level of predictability, and therefore they could have, a number of persons moved from small farmers to medium, and they were getting to large, where they were now looking to export chickens to Trinidad, etc. But what would have happened is that TADCO came in, tried to bully their way onto the market, this new administration, and tried, in fact, they attempted this contract farming, but they went about it the wrong way, because most farmers recognized that it wasn't very lucrative, because by the time you get the birds, you get the feed, and the mortality rate was very high. So when TADCO take back the birds, what you are getting is really next to nothing, and most farmers said they were getting a better deal by actually farming on their own, producing their own, and then selling it back on the retail market. So what we are recognizing is that this current administration has continued to lose its way. There's no plan, there's no strategy, and there's no clear synergy between the various stakeholders. Is Maxon back? Or
Yes, he's supposed to be connecting.
Okay, so
no, he's not on yet.
Mr. Moderator, could we move on to the next topic, while our hot topic, while we wait for Maxon? Because I think the agriculture discussion is an important one. But
we also have some serious matters to also ventilate. So, Minority Leader, we had an issue, something that came up, and I know it is something that you all intended to treat with in the House as well. There's an issue with respect to the rent and lease program down at the Division of Infrastructure, where our information is that the program has been suspended. It had been suspended indefinitely. However, new information came to light. We saw something in the circulating in the media, and I'll ask the director to pull up that notice that would have been sent out, the supplier notice coming out of the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. I'll ask him just to pull that up on screen. No, the notice, the supplier notice. Not that one, the supplier notice from the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, or Urban Development. I just resent it to you, so it's on top there now, the last image that you would have gotten on the link. So, Minority Leader, we got information that this entire program would have been shut down. What would have accounted for this?
So you would recall, and I'm sure most of our viewers would recall, that just last week, during a live presentation, I did indicate that a whistleblower sent me a correspondent indicating that a memo went out, which read, "All heads, please inform all supervisors that no tools, vehicles and equipment should be engaged for this week and the ensuing quarter for any projects and or operations until further advised." And what that in essence meant is that the division, in the most curious and haphazard way, would have fired all suppliers of services in the rent and lease program. So rather than engage these suppliers, rather than in a decent, humane way, inform these persons that they are reviewing the process, reviewing the suppliers, what all these suppliers got was simply a memo telling them they no longer need their tools, their equipments, and their services. So these are Tobago people with families who have bills. Many of them would have invested, took loans to purchase these tools and so forth. These folks have their rent, they have their children to send to school, they have to buy food and grocery, and without any care, the division would have basically fired these people, just as how they fired the workers at TATCO, fired the monitoring evaluation, fired community partnership, fired CPEP. And it's like, I am asking myself, what manner of heartless people are running the Tobago House of Assembly at this time? And while this is happening, my information is also telling me that program is ripe with corruption. And as you see there, that is the new flyer that is out. So in essence, they fired the suppliers, some of them giving good service to the division for over 10 years. They are very compliant with all the statutory requirements. In fact, just about a year or so ago, they had to go through the same process.
Yes.
Yet you're seeing where the division is again putting out a notification for suppliers of service. So they have discarded those who were supplying the services before, and they are now looking for new suppliers. I also understand that since this notice went out, they have called back some people. So perhaps this is their way of weeding out who they don't want, the people they probably believe is PNM, and
the political picks.
So they are looking, I don't know how they would know who is PNM, but perhaps they are looking, trying to weed out people they believe that doesn't support them. And this is their way of throwing people off. But More than that, I want to tell the people of Tobago that this program, based on the information I have, and I'm going to take, as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, I will take the evidence that I have. I'll be writing the Auditor General's office, and I will be asking the Auditor General, as chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, to conduct a special detailed forensic audit into this rent and lease department of the Division of Infrastructure, because as I said, the information I have suggests that persons who were employed in the very rent and lease program were renting their own equipments, were providing equipments.
That's no minority leader. Repeat that for me. I want to follow you closely.
The information I have is that persons writing the rent and lease program were also renting and leasing their own equipments.
So himself, himself.
It gets even more interesting. There are members, based on the information I have, members of the Tobago House of Assembly who also owned equipments, either directly or indirectly. And I'm calling on the Auditor General's department to come in and conduct a special audit. So I'll be penning that letter. So I will allow for tomorrow. We'll all get over our period of fasting. And after we get over tomorrow, we will be sending that letter to the Auditor General's department, asking for that audit into the rent and lease program, which I understand would have racked up a bill that is $13 million, over $13 million more than its allocation.
Minority leader, this is some critical information. If I don't know how to even describe this, because you said it gets worse and then you gave us some more information. So if this is in fact how it's going, or if it means therefore, and you've said this before, that not only this administration has lost its path, but this chief secretary has absolutely lost control of his charges.
Well, for some reason, the chief secretary seems unable to treat with a very uncontrollable secretary of infrastructure.
Yes.
In fact, this chief secretary has promised us an reshuffle now. I mean, they really say promise. If we were to take the promise of this chief secretary for a reshuffle, will definitely be considered fools, because they say a promise is a comfort to a fool, and this chief secretary has promised us. This is like the umpteenth time we've been waiting for a reshuffle. In fact, since it's October 2022, he promised us a reshuffle, and up to this day we cannot get a reshuffle. So clearly the chief secretary is not in control of his secretaries. In fact, because they are independent, because they decided to call themselves independents, it means that nobody can correct, one cannot correct the other, and the chief secretary is but a figurehead. He has absolutely no control over any of his charges, and that is a sad state. So is each, as someone will say, each man for himself and God for us all. And that is what happening at this point, is a sad situation, but clearly down in the Division of Infrastructure, at every level, it is ripe, it is pregnant with corruption.
Minority leader, in that vein and the same note, and it's sad that we have to use corruption as the launching pad. We have had a number of issues surrounding one particular road project over the last couple of weeks, and we would have seen this same secretary and members of the administration come out to pretend and to trivialize the matters and to stand on the basis that everyone else is wrong and we are right. And on the cuff of the last gloat, The next morning, we saw a third injunction filed in court. Many persons may not have an appreciation for what was supposed to have taken place by way of central government through that expansion project. I know you want us to take a look at it to get into it a bit, so I'll ask the director to cue up those slides for us as well.
So two things I want to do going forward. So tonight I'll take some time for us to look at the alternative, because in everything there's an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
The potential next best thing. And in this situation, I want the people of Tobago to understand. And the question is, because when the facts are brought, I want you to recognize that we had an opportunity to have a first-class international road that is far superior to what is being constructed, and that would have been constructed at absolutely no cost to the Tobago House of Assembly.
Okay.
And therefore, it begs the question, why would you go and spend, now going to cost us over $100 million for a road that is not as good, that is not going to take you as far as the next road, and does not have as many conveniences as the other road would have had, and would have been less stressful on you, the Tobago House of Assembly? Why would you do that when you had a better option? And tonight I want to take my time and share with Tobago this option that was always on the table as part of the A&R Robinson International Airport. And next week, what we'll do, because I plan to try to get the support to show you visually what you would have gotten with this option, and visually what we're going to get. And you, Tobago, I want you to decide.
So I'll ask the director as we go along to just shift the slides. Let's move to the next slide. So, Minority Leader, we have a bit of background here and what we call the project brief. And just for the sake of the viewers and listeners, the A&R Robinson International Airport New Access Road has been conceptualized to facilitate expansion of the new airport terminal building and the government's drive to diversify the Tobago economy and enhance the tourism industry.
So what this right away you see, the difference in this is that there was actually a feasibility study done. So there was work put in to actually looking at the project, understanding whether the project is feasible, and then deciding we can now proceed. So the background, of course, gave you what the general concept, general overview of what this project is. And Marilyn, I want you to, so for those persons who were saying that this is just the PNM trying to throw something out there now, as you can see, this road is a cabinet approved project, which meant that it would have gone to the cabinet would have looked at it, it would have been, there would have been projected costs, and we were in, as I said, this would have been the last phase of the A&R Robinson International Airport, because this would have been the access road that would have connected persons from the airport, persons going to the airport and persons coming from the airport. So you were getting a full-on highway, new highway from Cove, and I saw when I told them the road would have gone as you come down to Cove, come down to the end of the Killigrew Estate, it would take you at the back of Apex. So for the persons who don't know, they know Tobago, there is still a lot of land before you get to the sea.
A lot of land.
So I saw somebody saying that I don't know Tobago because all there's behind Apex is sea. And no, if you know Tobago, you'll understand there's still a lot of land behind there before you get to the sea. So it would take you to the back of Apex, to the back of Ravenels, and carry you all the way down to the front of the airport terminal. And
as we see the project brief, it indicates a 4-lane
very
highway.
Significant.
I wanted you to touch a bit on that.
So this would have been as far as this would have been the first dual, and when we say dual, meaning 2 lanes on the left and 2 lanes on the right. So for the first time, Tobagonians would have been able to enjoy an international first-class road where 2 cars can go down the road
side by side,
and 2 cars can come up the road without being impeded or without having to overtake. So you can comfortably drive 2 lanes down. And that is the type of first-class road that Trevor and Farley decided not to accept for free. And they are now trying to bulldoze their way into building a 1-lane road from Cove that would take you just about as you reach to the point or the junction by Apex. So Farley and Trevor Road is going to take you from Cove to by Ashworth Place, while this international access road, which would have been free, was taking you from Cove all the way down to the airport. But it gets even better than that, because the road would have also, they were also upgrading the Storbay local road. So while you are going down, using that road to either go down or exit the airport, you also have the option now of a widened Storbay local road to take additional traffic. And the question we now have to ask, seeing that Trevor and Farley discarded this option, what will now be the traffic plan to get people to and from this international airport?
So there is no longer, as far as they are concerned, the connect.
So the direct connect
from the airport.
The direct link is no longer available because Farley and Trevor decided that they wanted to build their own road using monies that they self said they don't have. So what they would have done is mortgage the future of Tobagonians at the expense of having and I don't want this to stick, at the expense of an international access 4-lane road that would have taken away all the traffic issues, because you're giving a road designated directly to get to and from the airport, while allowing traffic to flow normal along an upgraded Storbay local road.
Minority Leader, one of the things that you hear trying to be propagated.
So I also want, yes, this is important. this is
you
also
always hear
important.
that nobody talking to us and they're just trying to bully their way.
So for the persons who were trying to make mischief, and trying to indicate this was the central government simply trying to have its way into being, it was clear from the beginning and up to the point that Farley and Trevor and they decided to build their own road, that this was always a collaborative effort between the central government and the Tobago House of Assembly. And therefore there was, and as far as I understand, existed a steering committee with representatives from the THA as to ensure that this international access road was delivered to the people of Tobago. And the question we have to ask ourselves, because this is a road we were getting for free. I want Tobagonians to understand that 4-lane highway free, far superior to what is being built. It would have meant that we would not have had all these issues. So before we get into the injunction and the cost to Tobagonians, what we had is first about a choice. And this Tobago House of Assembly had a choice to make. And we in Tobago have to realize that we have to now ask ourselves, did they make the best choice? Knowing what you know now, and I want you Tobagonians to answer this question. Knowing what you know, that we had the opportunity to have an international access road 4 lanes, as opposed to a 1 lane down, 1 lane up. short 2.5 kilometers from the beginning of Cove to right on the junction of at the end of Killigrewen, right in front of Apex. Which option? And this one is costing you the lesser option, the one that is shorter, not connecting you to the airport, is costing you now over $100 million,
Yes.
while the one that was connecting you to the airport, still upgrading Storbay Local Road, was costing you $0,
Yeah.
0 cents. Which option would you have chosen? And clearly the managers of Tobago, for some reason, and we will get into why.
Yeah.
Because why would you give up a free international 4-lane quality road
Yeah.
that is taking you from the beginning of Cove all the way connecting you to directly to the airport? Why would you forego that for a more inferior road that is not carrying you, connecting you to the airport, that is not dual, not 4 lane, it's 2 lanes, and now you have to go through all these issues to even access some of the lands? Why would you?
I'll ask the director to bring back up that very slide. Let's
So
bring back
there's
up the
and I
same
want
slide.
people to get it, because there were a couple options looked at, and based on so if you go to the next slide,
Next one.
you would see some road alignments, because what this would have done, and this is what I would try to get done next week for you, which would show you
visual.
how the actual, how this really plays out in a real sense, where you would see the Shervan and the Milford Road. You would see how that would connect with the Shervan, where the roundabout would go, and you would get a really nice visual of how this would have what Farley and Trevor threw away, so that they could spend $100 million of your money that they claim they still don't have as yet. So what that means, because this $100 million that is being spent on that road to take you simply from Cove to the end of Killigrewen, just before Apex, that $100 million is money that they don't as yet have. What they have done is hire a contractor who is spending their own money, and then the THA over time will have to find that money. So what they have done is mortgage monies to come, allocations to come, to pay for a road that they could have gotten free, and gotten it free that would have been even better than what they are building.
So I want
you understand what I'm
saying? It means that they're spending money we haven't gotten yet.
They are spending money we have not gotten as yet on a road that is not as good as the road they were going to get for free. I want Tobagonians, I want that to sink in.
And because must remember the 309 million that we still paying for.
Gone before. But this road that is now going to cost $100 million to take you from the beginning of Cove, 1 lane down, 1 lane up, to the end of Killigrewen Estate, right on the junction there just before Apex. That is $100 million that they are spending, when in fact there was an option where they would have gotten an international access road as part of the A&R Robinson new airport terminal that would have been 4 lanes, dual lane, 2 lanes on the left, 2 lanes on the right, to have cars going down 2 lanes, going down 2 lanes, coming up from the beginning of Cove all the way down, connecting you directly to the airport. And in fact, you would have still gotten your Storbay Local Road upgraded as part of the scope of works. And they gave that up because Trevor and Farley wanted to spend $100 million of your money, and all you have to ask yourself is why. And that's a fact. That is the issue, and I want any Tobagonian to justify to me in what realm would you forego getting a better road for free and taking money that you don't have. It come like you want to build a house. You don't have the money. You are somebody, a good Samaritan, say they would build you a mansion, but yet you decide you don't want the mansion.
Yeah.
You will go and build a shack. You would go to the bank, borrow the money to build the shack, and you could have gotten a mansion for free. Who would refuse that?
Yeah, yeah. Some very interesting information on the next slide, Minority Leader. I want us to move forward, Mr. Director. Skip this one as well. This. We're looking here at some more background. And it spells out, and this clearly indicates the level of research, the level of conversation, negotiations, discussions across the board that would take place to come to the public with a project as this.
Correct.
And it is definitely not what we are seeing now with this present administration, who keep running into problems because for some reason they think that they do not need to obey the law. So just to skim through the background, option 3 was considered the preferred option on account of 1. Provides the least impact to residents' home, provides for minimal acquisition and resident relocation, no negative impact on the wetland, most cost-effective route since it utilizes existing road reserve and roadways, allows for future development of the Friendship Estate, allows a demarcation or separation of the wetland from development encroachment. This we have not seen in the last 2+ years coming out of the THA. Nothing like this.
Correct. So it was no fly-by-night arrangement as we are seeing happening, where they are just going onto people,
bullying,
bulldozing their way onto private lands and costing taxpayers millions and millions of
legal fees.
So, and if you continue on the side, so you would see, so there was proper analysis of this project. And if you could move on to the other side.
Next slide.
Continue.
Let's go again.
Oh, so they're going back.
No, this is forward to the different background rationale.
Yeah. So this just gives you an additional feature. So the new roadway, as I said, will interact with 2 roundabouts, because what you were having as well, it would bring one would bring connect directly to the Shervan road. So where there's that traffic lights, that you could now go straight over and drive down to the new road. There'll be a roundabout that would take you, if you want to continue to go down to the airport side, if you want to go back out to Cove. But so you would have had that option as well. Whereas if you wanted to get away from the traffic on the main road, the main Wilson Road, you could have just gone straight over there. You also have another interaction, I think, down at the Killigwin side, where you would have been able to, again, be able to deviate and go on.
Still have options.
Still have that option as well.
So, Mr. Director, let's go down to the scope of works slide. Option 3, scope of works. So this outlines what the scope of the job is in terms of option 3, and some of the things that they would have identified needed to take place. Again, in primary school, we had proper planning prevents poor performance.
Correct. So what I would do, I commit to doing next week, when as soon as we get the render, I would have someone more technical also come on to guide us through what this project would have been and how it would have been implemented, so that because I want Tobagonians, the real purpose of this exercise, because we are about education. It's not about bacchanal on this program. We are about educating you, the Tobagonians, providing you with the information so that you can make informed decisions, and that you are in a position of knowledge, and that you can carry your conversations in a meaningful way. And this is what we are doing. So we will provide you with the information as we go along, so that we can have more informed discussions happening in this space. Because persons just heard a road, and then they were able, they know they are very good at shaping narratives. So when they started to encounter challenges, their response to their challenges was to tell people, well, P&M don't want the road. When the issues they were facing had absolutely nothing to do with the People's National Movement nor the minority. What you had was persons who were being affected, whether you are a public officer in charge of forestry and recognizing that they were being very reckless in how they were bulldozing the trees. Some of those trees have historical importance because that site is also a heritage site, if they didn't know. And therefore that matter was reported to the EMA, and the EMA, as a responsible statutory body of both Trinidad and Tobago, took the matter to the court. The court found favor in EMA's argument and provided them and would have provided them with an injunction. Injunction is a temporary thing. So eventually they were able to agree. And even when they agreed, there was a private person who felt offended that they had interest in a portion of the land that was being bulldozed again to provide this roadway. Because you realize the word bulldoze, because it's a level of arrogance. And force. There's no kind of proper respectful engagement. So this person decided, if you're not going to meet and treat with me in a respectful manner, took them to court, and the court again found favor and injunction number 2. When they thought they got over that and they were boasting and nobody would stop them on the road, and they're free to continue, but you're also impeding and trespassing and encroaching on private property. And that one, for me, was the most obnoxious, the most outrageous and egregious action, that a state entity will just blatantly disregard all kind of laws, all kind of logic, and just encroach and take over private property. The only places I know such actions happen is places like Zimbabwe and that kind of thing, where the state, and when the state is acting in such dictatorial manner, it makes you very concerned. Because today it might be the owners of the Killigrew estate, but who else property this administration believe that they could just come and take over without even engagement, without even compensation?
It is amazing.
It is the height of arrogance.
Before we continue, Minority Leader, we have to go to a short break. We've been going non-stop since we came on air, so we're going to pay a few bills and we're going to come back right after and go into the final leg of our show this evening. So stay locked on, and you can still share the live. We'll be right back.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Life is good with zero. Zero interest for 6 months. Zero down payments. Zero stress payment plan. That's right. With Standards My Terms, we are putting the power of zero in your hands. months. Now, you can get that new sectional, fridge, stove, or TV for zero down. Pay zero interest later and enjoy a zero stress payment plan plus quick approval within 48 hours. Standards never beaten on quality and prices.
Fellow citizens, I am Rajiv Dipti. In my business, I meet people from all walks of life. I hear their stories, from struggles to successes. The supreme law of our country that safeguards our individual rights and freedoms as we go about our daily lives is the Constitution. It was amended back in 1976, but life is different now. The Constitution can be altered through legislative reforms. So please submit your recommendations to constitutionalreform2024.gov.tt by the 15th of April. It's your future, your Constitution, your voice.
You're the prize, you're the queen.
Deltec Distributors, best deal. 3 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, B5 meats, 3 pounds each, $300, best deal. Or you could try 5 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, B5 meats, 5 pounds each, $500, best deal. $20 delivery. Call me now, 359-5040 or 237-0102. Order online at www.deltecdistributors.com or check with us, Main Road, Aga, Tobago. Deltec Distributors, best deal. Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Yes, folks, and we are back, and we're going to be preparing to close off with discussion on one of the particular slides. Before we get there, I want to encourage us on the live especially, let's be respectful. Let's use proper language. This is a family program. Many children view the program as well. So I want to urge those who have come in and share differences of opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's be respectful and respect everybody else's views. If not, we will ask you to leave the program, because if you don't share the views and you come on and watch it every single week, and we welcome you. You are against what we're saying, but you come on every single week and look at the program. But you're making it a
business every week. The same program.
Just be respectful.
And let me say something, because I want to address something real quick. There's a number of people who will view this program without you seeing them viewing this program, because your party continues to victimize people. And people are quietly observing, people are taking notice, and people are coming to a place of information and making their own, own. So have no fear. Just as how you enjoy coming on every week, there are a number of persons enjoy coming on just like you.
Just like you. So with that said, let's respect everybody.
We welcome you.
You are always welcome to come and do the show. Over time, we know that your opinions would change.
Because, funny enough, and this is just an example to Tobagonians. We've started this show now for about over 2 years. Yeah. And without fail, we come here consistently every Tuesday talking to the people of Tobago. You can rely on us. You can rely on Tuesdays. In the main, there will be a program called Minority Report, because we are dedicated to informing the people of Tobago. Take that in contrast and compare that to the other side. You remember the program Full Disclosure? Where's that program?
Non-disclosure now.
That is basically they closed down.
They're going to receivership.
So it's not even a disclosure, it's just a complete closure. It's a full closure.
Void of information, anything.
Because they just wasn't making sense. And this is, but it is also symptomatic of this administration.
Yes.
They are not consistent with anything. They cannot commit to doing anything. And they cannot deliver on anything. So a minority that has 2 persons can make the time every Tuesday to come to talk to Tobagonians, while you have a majority with over 16 people, and you telling me 2 people can't come together to keep a show every Thursday, and you want to come on this program and talk nonsense. Enjoy the program, we welcome you.
Yes, exactly. So we go to this slide as we begin to wrap up. Mr. Director, could we have that slide up? So Minority Leader, we want to close on this note this evening. We want to look at the beneficial impacts that we would have benefited from as a result of this particular access road, this international level access road coming out of the airport project. We see the first one. It says increased value of land and regularization of informal settlements, and for it's a nice term that has been coined for probably even persons who would have been on squat land for a number of years. But informal settlements, meaning that there is no real community name, or it's not like a gated community or anything like that. But just with this access road, the new airport terminal, what automatically happens is that property value increases.
Of course.
Persons who would have had a property worth $100,000 before now own a property worth $1 million, and it's an all-round benefit.
And remember, the Friendship Estate is a large estate, so it's a multi-purpose estate where you have lands designated for agricultural lands, for commercial lands, for residential lands, for even some sporting activities as well, and hotel development and all that. Just remember, take for example, look at the approach of this administration. They gave lands to some people to develop a water park, and in the same breath they then bulldoze part of those lands to run the road. So that shows the lack of planning.
Yeah.
Left hand doesn't know what right hand is doing, and they're all over the place like some little children playing muddy pot. That is what they are.
Yep. No direction.
No direction.
No plan. No,
so whereas
nothing
there was a clear plan for structured, organized development, and it would have integrated the heritage aspect of the space. It would have integrated the fact that we were going to also treat with a marina further down into Cove.
Yes.
It would have integrated the fact that there were also plans to do a housing development. There were also plans to have agricultural activity. So it would have been a holistic spatial development that was going on in that space. Not like what is happening where the THA is ending up on lands that they don't even own. That is trespassing. That is breaking the law. That is tyrannical. And that is downright wrong.
Exactly. Minority Leader, I want to pull on one of the impacts there. Potential for... Okay, Mr. Director, let's pull it back up. It seems that, yes, potential for the creation and enhancement of ecotourism businesses, bird watching, wetland tours, peacock farm, horse farm, etc.
So it's clear that they in fact, if you look at that, this development, this road development, was going to complement the current people who were there, not
bulldoze them or treat them with disrespect.
Exactly.
Because all these areas that are identified, some of those persons who reside in that area are involved in these things.
What is ironic, because we are all Tobagonians, and when persons had to move for the airport development, we all felt the pain of those Tobagonians. But of course, they were compensated, and in most respect, most of them were decently compensated. But here it is. Some of the very people who were against these folks from the Crown Point area having to relocate. Look how they are treating other Tobagonians. So, Marilyn,
utter disdain.
As we close off on this point and this aspect of the discussion, I just wanted and will continue to share with you Tobagonians that what is happening with that road, the People's National Movement, we are not against the road, because what we are saying, there was always an option, there was always intention to build a road. But what we have a challenge with is, one, the process, and the fact that even now, more than ever, why the question, we want the THA to answer the question, why did you forego this far superior option that was free, that would have been absolutely no cost to the THA, taking you from the beginning of Cove, all connecting you all the way down to Crown Point to the airport, and go and mortgage Tobagonians
again
allocation to the tune of $100 million to build a road that is inferior, that does not take you as close to the airport as this road would have. So you were getting 4 lanes as opposed to the 2 lanes. You were getting a longer road, which was about 5 kilometers in length all the way down to the airport, as opposed to 2.5 kilometers. So in every comparative factor, you were getting a far superior road for absolutely no cost. And that is the point.
That's a fact.
That is fact. And I challenge Trevor, I challenge
any one of them
to dispute those facts. As we close, I want to close because next week is going to be Revelation Week. I'm calling it Revelation Week because I'm going to come back with some receipts. So I want to leave this here for my good friend Natisha Pantin. Natisha, I'm giving you 7 days. to treat with this matter because you blatantly lied to the people of Tobago. And I have the evidence, I have the facts. And I don't know if I'm giving you an out. And the only way you will get this out is by you firing your chairman of TADCO.
Get rid of
because
that
it would mean when you take that decision, you will be telling Tobagonians the only reason you lied is because your chairman lied to you.
Exactly.
So I'm going to play this clip. I have the evidence, and I'm giving you 7 days to deal with your chairman. So do your investigation. When you realize your chairman lied to you, that caused you to lie to the people of Tobago, you have 7 days to fire your chairman. If you don't, I will expose you, I'll expose your chairman, and I'll expose to the people of Tobago the kind of lied, wicked people they have running for office in Tobago here at this point in time. So, play the clip, and next week, we'll come back for Revelation Tuesday.
So, Mr. Director, we have a clip that I would have sent to you earlier as well. Hope you have it queued up.
Send it back, Marlon, because we...
Yeah. I forwarded it. He sent it now to you, so it should be this one that you just got. The guys are getting it up and ready for us. Minority Leader, that is a serious challenge, and I know you would have came out prior to even now and spoke on more than one occasions to the fact that the chairman, we've seen a lot of reckless behavior from the chairman of TADCO. We've seen decisions being taken, I mean, totally inhumane.
Well, the point is, you know, I try not to get into the personal, but you see, facts are stubborn things. And you see when people believe that they can hold public office and blatantly lie, especially when it comes to important matters, the chairman has, in fact, in my mind, and I'll be writing to the chief secretary with the evidence as well, he has shown that he's unfit to hold public office, and therefore he should either resign or the secretary should do the honorable thing after she recognized, once she do her investigation and recognize that he caused her to mislead the entire public and the house, and cause her to lie inside of Parliament.
So we have the video ready. Let's go with it, guys.
I'm not familiar with any human resource consultancy being engaged for that process. Madam Presiding Officer, TADCO has not engaged or did not engage any human resource service or consultant. Yeah, so no monies were paid to any consultant.
Minority Leader.
Question still remains, was any payment during the period of this chairman made to the mother-in-law of the chairman? Simple, yes or no?
Assemblyman Pantin.
Madam Presiding Officer, when I inquired about question number 106, right, the board submitted that no one was engaged, no payments were made to recruit a consultant or any HR-related services. So no monies were paid to anyone.
So you would recognize, and just to bring some context, we brought this question twice. First question we asked in the sitting previous was whether the TADCO engaged any form of HR consultant or consultancy. And we were told and I want you all to understand the word engage, meaning hire. So it matters not whether they were paid or not, but whether they hired anybody, right? And we were told no. I asked for clarity again. Said, "You're sure?" We were told no. We came back with the question just to be a little more specific because we thought you probably didn't understand what we were saying. And we got even more specific. Even if it's not for advice, we wanted to know if you hire them for training, any kind of HR related function. And again, we were told no. And you recognize we didn't call her name, but she was clear to call her name because actually she probably had information we didn't have. But fortunately, we now have information that she should have.
Yeah.
And the information
right one.
that we have, that she should have, is that she absolutely lied. And I am giving her 7 days to treat with this. Do your research, Madam Secretary. And when you recognize that your chairman totally embarrassed you and caused you to lie, I'm also giving you that 7 days to have him fired, else I will expose each and every one of you. So folks,
Revelation Tuesday.
Let us continue to stay focused. As you know, we recognize Eid. I want to, in advance, send out to our Muslim brothers and sisters holy blessings on that special day. They've been fasting for the last 40 days or so, 39 days or so, and now as they recognize the end of Ramadan in a sense, and that holy day, that is Eid, we want to send our greetings, appreciating the fact that we are a true multicultural society where, we have this unique privilege of enjoying, of celebrating numerous and varying religious festivals in a spirit of camaraderie, unity and love. And that is something we should not take for granted, and we all should appreciate. So folks, enjoy the day tomorrow. For some of you, will go to the beach, but whatever you do, be safe and continue to be your brother's keeper. We'll continue to be looking out for you here in Tobago. We'll continue to be bringing the information to you in various forms and in various ways. And we thank you for the support. We thank you for the prayers. Much love.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. And folks are echoing, just be safe. And let's be our brother's keeper. I'm Marlon David, Minority Report, signing out this evening saying stay blessed. And we look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, on what? Revelation Tuesday. Have a good night.